We Say What They Can't Radio.
Two girls and a guy.
Literally.
Two girls and a guy. Hey, this is Koko.
It's your boy Marley D.
And this is your girl Lisa K. And you're tuning in to Two Girls and a Guy. Sis, I thought you said you were going to do it.
I know. I'm addicted. I'm addicted. Welcome back to another episode of Two Girls and a Guy.
One guy in the building.
With Marley D, Koko, and
Yes.
of course, I'm your girl, Lisa K. I'm so excited to be here, guys.
I am extremely excited today. Please
What?
excuse my chip nails.
Why are you excited? We are so excited because we have such a special
Yes.
guest. Oh my God. His name is Sergeant Edwin Raymond.
Can't hold that from them. They try.
I know. You know, we'll bring him on a little later, but y'all have to stay tuned for this show. It's going to be epic.
Very informative.
If you have sons, husbands, even fathers,
Brothers.
they trying to get them, y'all. We gotta talk about it.
Black men is revenue.
I know. So
Quickly.
before we get into that,
How was y'all week? Real quick.
my week was great. Moving on.
It
Koko.
was cool. Moving on.
Well, you know,
Right, for real, sis.
I'm going to take
I
a
wanna
long
get to
time.
the top-
But
topic.
real talk, how was your week? Because I know you just started a new journey. So
Oh,
how was
so-
that whole process?
Can we get a round of
You know
applause for
what's
that?
so
Yes, give me a
crazy?
round of applause for that. Please.
Okay.
Oh, maybe not.
Oh,
Wait,
he's
what's going on with the sound
All
guy?
right.
He's drinking over
The
here.
sound guy
He's
fired.
getting drunk over here. We need a new sound guy. What's going
Shout
on?
out to
Sound
Big
guy.
Shot and
Yeah,
Roll.
you're
Round of
fired.
applause.
You're fired. Oh, they gonna say, oh, you're fired. We still waiting for the sound clap. Oh,
Thank you.
clearly.
Try ass
Thank
clap. Damn.
No, I'm really excited. And you know what's so funny is that today's show is kind of in line with it because for those of you who don't know, I have accepted a position as the HR manager for a HR company. And most of our clients are nonprofit agencies that bail people out of jail that can't afford to pay bail. To pay bail. Right. So all those type of nonprofit organizations. So I'm learning so much. So when I saw who our guest was going to be, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, is this not God just saying, and you know, like you are doing exactly what you need to be doing. So shout out to me.
That's what's
for
up,
making it happen and giving back in the way that I can and in my expertise.
As you should.
So it's all connected. What about you?
I just been working hard.
That's what's
La La
up.
Land.
What's going on with the
He's still there.
okay.
Yeah.
Your boo?
Interesting. You might
Knocking the cobwebs off that ass.
You know, I might get a ring out of this one, sis.
Oh, nah, come on.
I might get a ring out of this one, sis.
I'm so excited. It's been all of 2 weeks, but I feel you.
Total of 3.
I feel
let
you.
Me drag it.
Can a nigga make a month?
But can I claim my husband? Can I claim it?
Oh my
You
God.
sure can,
Give him some
sis.
time. Give him some time, though. Give him some time.
I'm not saying he's my husband right away, but can I just say I'm gonna have a husband? Dang, you acting like I'm going to jump the broom with him now.
Girl, just let me know. Are we going for ivory, white, or are we going
She don't know
for your
what's
wedding
going
dress?
on right now.
That's what
Don't encourage that.
What
Why
about
you
you,
hate
Marty?
her?
What about you?
Week has been great, man. God sent a lot of money my way this week.
Clearly,
You know what I'm
because you
saying?
just have a whole bunch of gadgets you just popping out the woodwork with, thinking you're doing something.
Well, when you do right by people, God send them in. You know what I'm saying?
Shamalala
Shout out to my
ho.
little electrical business. If you need me, your lights and all that turned on, holla at
you
your
still
boy,
ain't
man.
doing my lights.
What? Get holla at me with some pay. That's how that works. That's my career
I
right there.
guess that's why my
Well-
light's still not up.
We don't play with the career. You ask me for a repost, that's free. You ask me for my career now. You gotta pay. Nah, I come check you out though. I got you. You got your fixture ready?
I've been having my fixtures since Christmas.
This is true. I got you before the holiday.
Yeah, whatever.
So exciting. Okay,
All
so
right, Tea with
any,
Koko.
what's going on with Tea with Koko?
Let me just fill you guys in really quickly. It has been crazy in the little social media world. However, I'm gonna start with non-important things first. I just found it weird. Time Magazine gave Cardi B Album of the Year for Invasion of Privacy.
I didn't know. First of all, I didn't even
She's
know
still
that
with
Time Magazine gives people Album of the Year.
Still
They're
with
not like a
Somebody paid for that.
music.
Someone paid for that. Somebody behind the scenes, man.
All right,
They're trying to push Cardi's agenda.
I'm so
Y'all know
not.
what's going on.
I'm
They
not
tryna push-
concerned. I'm not
I
concerned.
just feel like really wow.
They tryna
And then
push
she
the-
had a collaboration with Fashion Nova. And when she had that collaboration with Fashion
pretty
Nova,
dope.
it sold out in a couple hours. That's really dope for her.
You got collab with
But
Reebok, too.
however, the little Dr. Phil girl was there. And you know she doesn't like Iggy, the Dr. Phil little white girl.
Bad
Oh,
baby.
oh.
I
Yeah,
don't
meet
even
me
know why.
outside.
And she literally threw a drink at Iggy.
Iggy should have beat her little ass. Took
I
her
mean,
belt off
that's
and
still
beat
a
her little ass
child.
with a beat ass.
That's still
took
a
my belt off
child.
and whipped her ass.
That's still a child.
Stay in a child's place.
That's how I truly feel. Like, why would you
Whip
go to this
ass.
event and show your ass? But I guess, like, what goes around comes around because she showed her ass at somebody else's event. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess that's how she's getting paid.
I don't
so.
care about Iggy or the other bad baby girl.
But I don't
care
feel
about
like bad behavior should clout chasers should be getting paid for misbehavior. But that's what it's come down to. You show your ass, you show a fool, and you're getting paid for it.
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Moving on. Love and Hip Hop New York trailer has been released.
I see that. Look at all
They
these
really got
dudes.
some really dope people in there.
Look at
Joe
them.
Budden, Sin Santana, Remy, and Papoose. It looks like it's gonna be
Mano?
Mano and his girlfriend Maggie.
Mhm.
Gandy Smith, Safari's still there. Rich Dollars.
Hopefully they make this more classy though. Because
I
this
mean,
looks like
that-
a more classier. group.
Yeah, I did
I
notice
don't
that.
see none of these women fighting with
Nope.
each other.
It looks
Remy's
very
not having-
elegant. I
yeah.
did see a few clips
Raka
where they
Taka.
Ratchet?
look. Yeah,
Raka
you know, the ratchet sells,
Yeah.
Oh my
but
god.
it looks from the picture, it looks like Black excellence, but we shall see.
I just like that.
They
I feel like
trying.
it's more New York. It has to do with actually music. Everybody that's in this picture actually doing something with music, where
Okay.
everybody else is not.
Man.
Moving along, congrats to Gabrielle Union, Dwayne Wade.
Yeah,
They welcome a baby girl via surrogate on November 8th, 2018. Her name is, I want to say, y'all know I will butcher her name.
I don't
It's-
really know.
Look, I'm going
Don't-
to
we not
spell
gonna-
it.
But shout out to the
K-A-B-I-A.
women. Shout out to the women of a
James
certain age that are still having babies by any means necessary. I'm totally here for it.
What does
Like
that mean by any
Well,
means
yeah.
necessary? What does that mean?
surrogate. She didn't push it out.
Oh god.
She didn't push it out. I'm sure they
I
have
don't know about
many
that.
eggs.
No,
Would
she
she
don't.
be? Would she have been all right with him having? Did he get to have sex with that woman?
No.
No, Marley.
That's not how it works?
Marley.
I'm not signing up for that.
My God.
Are we in the 21st
my
century?
God.
Like, what's going on?
Is he serious though?
It's to the
not signing
point.
up for
Technology has advanced so
They
much,
okay.
right?
That don't sound like no
that
fun.
you can take my egg and your sperm and
Make
put it
them-
in a little dish and make them come together
And
and then
chew.
freeze them.
I
And
believe
you,
in
the boy
old
and the girl.
fashioned laying
No,
your
but you
ass
can't
down
do-
and getting this work. That's what I feel. I believe in.
You could choose the gender.
I don't think God believes in that. The egg coming out and going in.
I'm not getting into that. Like we can talk all day
Fellas,
about what's
Any
what
man in the room,
because
fellas? I'm on myself here.
but she's
ladies.
a woman of a certain age.
Like,
She's
she
a woman of
yeah,
a
and
certain age.
She couldn't bear children, Marley, so she had to do
Oh,
an
all right.
alternative.
Well, then that's different.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Okay. I don't know about the choosing, but you know,
Yeah, you
they
could-
have 3 boys, 4 boys.
Well, technically 4. Remember, he has 3 with his, I think his original
that's they
first
first?
wife.
That's they
He
first.
had I don't call them maybe babies. Let me not say that. He had an outside
Right,
baby.
but the point is that
That's
it's
the
a
first girl.
house full of men. She deserves to have a little
Yes.
girl.
All
I'm
right, that's
excited about that.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Gabrielle Union.
Yeah.
Shout out to her.
Okay.
That's cool.
Moving along. This is the part I don't want to talk about.
Right.
As you guys all know, Kim Porter, the
Oh, yeah.
children of Diddy's 4 children. I know her oldest. Yes, I'm saying that's Diddy's child as well. Her oldest is with I'll Be Sure, but he was a deadbeat. He was not there. So
Okay.
he has children with her. She has 4 kids,
Yes.
and she has passed away.
Yes.
She had a
Pneumonia.
no, they said yeah.
Yeah, that's
Something like that.
Pneumonia, and she had cardiac arrest. But they finally did the autopsy, and they saying that the autopsy is a little too so they didn't want to put it out yet. So I feel like it's something fishy if they don't want to release the autopsy. They saying that they got to go
Yo.
back and redo.
I'm
Diddy
gonna
about
see.
to drop another number 1.
I know you were gonna say that.
feel
Like,
like
what
Another
is
number
up
1
with people
artist about to
saying
come
that?
out of that camp. Telling you, watch his little son be Diddy dancing all over the Times Square for the New Year's.
He's already doing
I'm
that.
talking about number 1 albums and shit.
So you trying to say she was a sacrifice?
I'm not
That's
trying to say
what
that.
that's what they are
That's what I'm
trying to
saying.
say.
Well, in
The whole
actuality, we all
Illuminati
sacrifices. Don't we
conversation.
live to die? We
No,
live to die
no.
for God.
that Marley.
In the house of God, we live to die.
All right.
You know what they say, man.
You know what?
I'm just saying, no. Let me not play around with that Illuminati
Please,
shit, man.
and
She had
thank you.
if she had
He's scared.
I ain't scared. When it's your time, it's your time.
He's like, nah, I'm not playing. I'm not playing.
Talk about it.
I ain't mean it, y'all.
I don't talk about it. Exactly.
We do not care about the Illuminati.
You do scare.
Broke black
You
niggas do
scared?
not care about the Illuminati.
You,
I ain't
you
got
get
enough money.
sacrificed too.
I do
When
not
we
got
said,
enough
"Let's
money.
sacrifice Marley so we could blow up."
Okay.
Well, that sounds like a plan. As long as my kids is a part of that, because y'all bitches gonna die famous.
Lord have mercy.
Excuse my language. I'm sorry. All right, but that rest in peace.
Yes,
rest in peace, sister.
Moving
I
on.
had pneumonia and I was playing basketball, so I didn't know that shit was that serious.
No, it can kill you. I had a
I
aunt
never
that
knew that.
died.
But she
from
just came back
walking
from
pneumonia.
a country, so I don't know.
God.
Someone
We'll work
might
it
have
out.
got something up in her. However, moving on. As
Condolences.
y'all all know, another terrible news in Atlanta. There was an armed black security officer that lost his life doing his job.
Crazy.
I heard about it.
His name is Jamel Robinson. He was 26 years old. It looks like he was doing security at a club, and there was someone who went to attempt to shoot
There was
and
somebody
harm
trying to
other
shoot
people,
up the club.
and he basically had the guy down on the floor with his knees on his back and a gun,
Stopped
right,
the guy, had his gun too,
and then
drawn up
police
the guy
came and shot him and killed him.
before asking any questions.
Yeah.
And his hat said security, like in
Yeah,
bold
but you know what though,
letters.
too. But you know what too is crazy about that, because I've been in situations where it's man crazy after the club. Cop in that situation, the cop doesn't know what's going on running onto that scene. If he just sees a guy out with a gun, whether his hat says security or not, it could have been a random guy with a security shirt on. You don't know who's who.
I
In
mean,
that
but there
situation, you
are
just see a guy-
procedures, Marty. Like
That
you
you
have
say-
to
exactly.
stop,
Yeah.
freeze. You know what I'm
But
saying?
again, I don't know the situation. I don't know if he just ran up and just started shooting.
Drop
without
the
asking any
weapon.
questions.
But
So,
can we talk about that, or can we get into talk about that?
Well, we're
Why?
about to talk about a
Okay.
lot of things that police officers are doing that we are not happy with. So I don't know if y'all want to go into it now.
No,
Y'all
we
ready?
definitely are going to go into it. Let's
All right. So we are going to be right back with
We'll be
our
right back.
special guest,
I'm
So
so can't wait.
Sergeant Raymond.
I'm so proud of this guy, man.
All right. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
So we are definitely back. Notice something different?
Something big different.
Oh my gosh. Before we introduce, I just want to say that personally, growing up in urban neighborhoods of New York City, stories of wrongful arrest and police harassment by the NYPD, especially against Black and Latino men in our communities, has unfortunately been a shameful narrative in our culture.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you guys know, I got this from the documentary, that between the years of 2007 and 2015,
Yep.
the NYPD issued 900,000 criminal summonses that were later dismissed
It's crazy.
for lack of probable cause, right? Criminal summonses and arrest-related fees as in that cash money, contribute tens of millions of dollars to the city's annual budget, with Black and Latinos receiving summonses 5 times more than their white counterparts. Those numbers are shocking, right?
Yeah.
Very shocking.
That's why we at the Two Girls and a Guy show we're so honored, and we welcome with open arms and open ears today's guest, Sergeant Edwin Raymond,
Yes,
to
yes.
the show.
Yes.
Can we get a
Round of applause.
round of
I'm
applause,
not
please?
done.
Hold on, wait a
Let me
minute.
tell the
Hold
people
on, wait a minute.
who this is.
Hold on, wait a minute.
I told them.
Hold the round of applause. Hold
Thank
on.
you.
All right.
I told y'all.
All right.
Hold on now.
So Sergeant Raymond was the lead plaintiff in a lawsuit filed by a group of New York City police officers against the city who have become the famous NYPD-12.
Yes.
And their story has been featured in the Hulu documentary called Crime and Punishment.
Dope.
This documentary, its whole purpose is to shine a light on this very issue: police corruption and systemic racism by police officers in Black and brown communities. We cannot wait to dive into this. We are so excited to have you.
Yes, yes.
Let's give Sergeant Raymond a warm welcome.
Yes, round of applause, man. Round of applause. Another round of applause, please.
Please, another round
There we
of
go.
applause. Because you literally put your career on the line.
Talk about
Definitely,
world
bro.
changers.
Yes.
Definitely.
Welcome to the show.
Man. Tell people about yourself, man. Tell them just a little bit about yourself.
All right, born and raised in Brooklyn, East Flatbush. 33 years old.
Young.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
we just want to make sure they hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, born and raised East Flatbush, Brooklyn, in the hood. You know, I mean, everything a young Black man goes through, I went through. You know, I was those many forks in the roads that we can either go left or right. I was there.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I kept making what I believed was the right choice. You know, I ended up joining the police department. One of the main reasons I joined the police department is because I saw the treatment that we were getting in the hood. You know, around the time I was 15, 16, you know, cops started, you know, I had a little bit of a beard, a little mustache.
Right.
And I guess I didn't look like a kid anymore. And these cops, they started harassing my friends and I. And I ended up going to high school in Manhattan. So when you go to school in Manhattan, most people are from the outer boroughs. So the same conversation from Flatbush was happening in Jamaica, was happening in Mott Haven, Harlem, Stapleton projects in Staten Island.
Right.
And I was like, wait, how come it's the same treatment? You know, and you know, we started comparing stories, and I realized this is a widespread thing, what we go through. And when I was about 18, that was like the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. Where I was walking with my girlfriend at the time, and cops just completely just violated my rights. So
With your girlfriend?
yeah.
Usually, I think like when you're with a woman, it
deters them
yeah,
from
but
that.
no,
You know,
Didn't
It just
happen?
depends on the mood of,
Okay.
I guess, and the officer, I guess, whatever day they're having,
Yeah.
or whatever pressure they might be under at that time.
Exactly. So that's when I was like, you know what? I think I need to join this department to see why is it that, you know, I'm seen in a certain light. And don't get me wrong, the block I grew up on, it was hot at times. But,
Okay.
But I wasn't involved in that stuff. You know what I mean? So why can't they see the difference? Even thing I was on my way to college at the time, and I'm like, why am I still getting this treatment? And I went through the academy thinking that it's, you know, it's in bold text because it was such a ubiquitous thing. It's widespread. So I figured it has to be written. And then after 6 months of the academy, I couldn't find it. I was like, so how do we go through these experiences if it's not in the official training? And then day one on patrol, that's when I learned about enforcement quotas. I was shocked at first.
So for some of our listeners who don't understand or don't know what a quota is, can you kind of let us know what that means to have a quota?
Sure. So every month is done on a monthly basis. The supervisor will basically let the officers know you have to get a certain amount of arrests, a certain amount of summonses, and a certain amount of stop and frisk every month. And every month, no matter how much you got for that month, when the next month starts, that you're worth whatever you're doing that month. You know, so it perpetuates.
So you're saying if you got 10 this month, by next month they want you to not only meet but beat that number?
No, there's always a number. If you get higher than the number, obviously you get, you know, you're seen as a harder worker. But there's always a minimum that they expect, and that creates the quota. The thing is, it doesn't matter if for 3 consecutive months you met the quota. That 4th month, if you don't, you get to talking to like, hey, what happened this month? You know, I approved that leave that you requested for because you said your daughter was, you know, had a dance recital. You know, we let you get off that day. What's going on?
Not to give too much away in the movie, but it's with the guy Sandy, I think his name Sandy Gonzalez. It's what he was going through when they called him into the office and started reprimanding him about his numbers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So what would happen if you didn't get your numbers? You get talking to, but okay, everybody gets talking to at work. Okay.
Program. It looks like that too. Yeah.
So at first they speak to you. Your supervisor pulls you aside. Hey, you know what happened this month? And if there's no improvement, you know, if the numbers don't increase the following month or even that same month, then you start to get certain posts. You start to get retaliatory posts where they'll make you do a undesirable assignment that's usually reserved for rookies. You know what I mean? So in the way the NYPD works, the more seniority you have, the better your assignments get. But you'll find yourself doing a rookie assignment as a senior cop. And if that still doesn't work, then you start to get written up for things. Like again, in a scene in the film where an officer is reprimanded for wearing a winter hat in the cold.
I did see that.
Yeah, he did say that. He was like, it's 32 degrees.
What
He
is
was
that?
like, yeah,
Like,
no.
what does that even mean? Like, how is that possible that he could get written up? And how was he out of uniform if the hat?
It's cold. Has the uniform
It had
on.
his.
Well, the technicality in the rule is it has to be below 32, and I guess it was 35.
It was like 38.
Whatever.
For you to
It was like
wear a
38,
hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's certain requirements, but again, if Sandy was meeting the quota, one, he wouldn't have even got that post. That post alone was a retaliatory post
course.
by himself
In the middle of nowhere.
Exactly. So not only would he not have gotten that post, he would have never gotten reprimanded for that. Like they wouldn't even notice he has the hat on.
Yeah.
You know, they literally nitpick when they want to start messing with you to put you on paper if you don't adjust to the talks. And if that still doesn't work, then you start to get low evaluations, and now that starts to hurt. That could hurt your entire career. The low evaluations eventually put you in what's called performance monitoring. That's the first step to get you to getting you fired, because you go on what's called monitoring puts you on dismissal probation if you're on monitoring long enough. And now one mistake, any little mistake, they could fire you.
They could fire you.
And we work hard, especially as minorities. A lot of us don't come from much. We work hard to get this job. That the salary is life changing.
Would you say that the pressure is on minority officers to meet the higher numbers, or is it the minority community? Like, where is the pressure?
Any officer that works in a minority community, the pressure's on them. What makes minority officers feel it more is we don't have the safety net that, like, we just getting on the job. So we don't have that grandfather that was a chief. Or, we just got here. We don't have that yet. Maybe 20, 30 years from now, the black cops then will start, through me and the others that's on the job, they'll have that uncle or that father or that grandfather, that neighbor. But we don't have that safety net that comes from the good old boys network, as it's called. So when it's time for reprimand, when it's time to get hurt for not meeting the quota, we feel it more.
Well, you're still a police officer now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I feel like I'm taking over.
No. I got a question about the quotas, man, because I saw in the movie they said that quotas was banned in 2010. So how is that even still a thing?
So quotas were actually banned even before that, but what happened is there were loopholes. So the current Brooklyn Borough president at the time was the state senator. He's a retired captain. So he knew exactly how to write the bill to tie up all those loopholes. So there's no way that the NYPD could operate the way that the culture does without violating that bill, because only a cop could write that bill so tight. And as of 2010, it was the current law, which is what we're using for a lawsuit, because we actually have a lawsuit against the city and department on behalf of the people to get rid of this. First time that's ever happened. Usually lawsuits are for the individuals.
Yeah.
We're doing it for y'all.
Right.
That's dope.
Because I did see that, and it's still currently going, correct?
Yeah, it's fragile, which is why we're hoping the movie brings enough awareness so people can pay attention to this lawsuit. This is a historical lawsuit. If we're successful, this will be referenced for centuries. This will be case law, like everyone knows the Miranda, Miranda rights. That was Miranda versus Arizona. Like this, it becomes historical cases. Brown versus Board of Ed, Roe v. Wade, all these historical cases, Plessy versus Ferguson. This will be a case that people will have to learn about.
So what do you think that we should do as a community to support, the famous 12, I want to say, because you basically Colin Kaepernick in the police department, literally, you know what I mean? Because you guys don't have no union. You don't have nobody to represent the good cops.
Yeah.
It's not there.
Yeah. I mean, step one is get informed. Crime and punishment helps with that a lot. Get informed. And you gotta put the pressure on the elected officials. They could write the legislation in a month that could change all of this. Not to mention the quota bill that became the quota law. Although it's good and we're trying to use it to sue federally, it's a state labor law. It has no teeth. You understand? And one thing about the department, no matter how bad the decision, the absolute worst case scenario is they got to pay out they got to pay tax money. It's impunity. There's no punishment for me as that chief that made that poor decision. The worst thing that could happen doesn't even happen to me. It's just the city got to pay tax money. So it's like gambling with other people's money. You're going to keep gambling no matter how much you lose. Right. You know what I mean? So we need to change that. Now imagine if litigation against the department, 15% of my salary has to be touched. I'm going to be very meticulous about the decisions.
That's a nice one. That's a nice one.
Like these are just off the fly, different types of legislation that could put teeth to these things. Because right now, even though the legislation is there, NYPD is very powerful. They don't care. If it's not federal, they don't care.
So you started off with 12. Is it still 12 police officers? Has the number grown?
That's a good question. Because Marley's my boy, so it's this is not an easy This is not easy.
I was looking like, oh my God.
Without
Yeah.
giving too many details, some people just couldn't hang on.
Yeah, they can. Are they still police officers though?
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
But I would imagine now it's like
And I've actually never answered that question, you know, but it's my brother.
I
right
would
here.
imagine you can't just say I want to speak out against you and then be like, oh,
Never
nah,
mind,
wait a minute,
erase
wait,
it.
this is not what I asked
I
for.
mean,
Let me get back over here with
that's-
you guys. It's
that's
kind
what
of
I'm-
like they mark now,
Yeah,
right?
That's what I'm saying, but some people they just like, this is too much, man. I can't. It's a beast, you know.
It is because you know what?
They kept coming after you. Like
Sometime-
even though,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, even though it happened and you guys went and made the lawsuit, it was like the department didn't learn. It's like they kept trying to mess with y'all after that. It's like, do you think they're not going to speak on it? Do you want them to break? It's like the intentions was for you guys to break. And the fact that you didn't break, like, it's like the utmost respect to you right now. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
You're really putting your entire life on the line.
And I feel that a lot of us, including myself, we tend to look at police officers as just that, a police officer. We don't think about the fact that they have families,
You know,
kids. There was a young lady in the documentary, and she was like, "Oh, I have a 10-year-old," and I was like, "She has a 10-year-old?" Like it doesn't click. You know that these are real people that live in communities.
I want to ask about one of the people that was in the documentary, Miss Perez, Jessica Perez, who had a son who
In the Bronx, right?
Yeah, who
He stayed-
pretty much which in the movie looked like he's been harassed through the years with cases that they would get grabbed up and then these cases would just get thrown out in court. Murder cases, attempt murder cases that would get
couldn't believe
thrown out in
Couldn't
court.
believe it.
And they were able to arrest him and hold him in jail for almost, it seemed like a year, or that's what they said, and had to go through a whole court process just to prove that he was free.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for investigator Gomez,
Shout out to Gomez. I like
if
him
it wasn't for him taking that case on, that kid probably would have still been locked up. Is that not true? How often does that happen? Stuff like that.
It happens.
The happy
Unfortunately,
story.
let me tell you, when you put pressure, this is a tax-funded service. You know what I mean? There's not supposed to be pressure. We're not selling vacuums. We're not manufacturing goods. This is a service that comes out of people's taxes. You know, we're there for you. That's how it's designed. That's the social contract. But over the last few decades, the way policing has been treated, especially in our communities, it's just something different, something that generates revenue. It's all about weekly spreadsheets. This system called ComStat. It's unfortunate, but these things happen, and it's incentivized. Because as a cop, if I keep making those arrests, that helps my career. You know, that's how I make it to detective.
Yeah, about to say, I just
Yeah,
but
but
guy
in
that
this-
made it
in
to
this-
detective and his grades was low. I think his evaluation was lower than yours, and he made it to the detective quicker than you.
Let's talk about that. So you took the sergeant test. There's a test.
There's an exam. Yeah.
There's an exam,
Civil
and
service.
out of 6,000 individuals who took this exam, you ranked 8th.
Okay.
That's number 8.
Okay.
Yeah, out of
And
6,000.
they kept denying your promotion. Can you speak on that?
Absolutely. So it was a commander who he learned that I was on the list, because after the list comes out and where you rank, it was 11,000 that took the test. 932 passed. I was number 8 out of 932, and they promote about 50 at a time. So the first group I was supposed to be in.
Yeah, gone.
Right.
and,
I'm
Clearly.
number
Right?
8. Right.
yeah,
Okay.
basic math, and the commander wasn't having it. He was like, "No way, this guy's getting promoted." Because I guess the way he saw it is, if we allow him to get promoted, how do we force others to conform to the quota? He's showing that you can get away with not doing your as he
Right.
sees it, and so he did everything to stop it. And unfortunately, it worked for a while. But at the time, I was already interviewing for a New York Times article that first put my story out there publicly. So I was supposed to be promoted December 17th, 2015. That was shot down. Then I was transferred. And 2 months after my transfer in Crown Heights 77 precinct, the article comes out. So kind of caused a little earthquake. And from then we got the name NYPD 12, and we went on TV. That was we went on TV as a group, something that's
I saw
never
that.
happened before.
Yeah.
I saw that live.
That was history.
And that's how we got more national attention as a group. That's how I met Kaepernick. I'm actually friends with Cap. Shout out to Nessa. I did an interview with Nessa and Cap. They're together. So he came and he met me that day, and we spoke about everything that was going on. It was about 6 weeks before he first took the knee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So do you think? 'Cause as I was watching the documentary, and I say, okay, well, he finally made it to sergeant, right?
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't deny it anymore. Do you think? And that happened after you went on television, after the article came out. Do you think in your heart that they finally allowed? I don't like that. That they finally allowed you to be sergeant as a pacification. Let's give it to him and hopefully he'll
Quiet
tone.
down.
Yeah.
They probably hope that, but they didn't do me a favor. This is something that I earned.
I mean, clearly.
Yeah. So it's just when everyone's watching, it's harder to do the nonsense. So they had no legitimate reason for holding me up in the first place, and it had to happen. So, but whether or not they hope that I would, he got his promotion, go shut up now.
Right.
I mean, maybe, but this ain't about me. Let me tell you, if I was worried about myself, self-preservation would have stopped me a long time ago.
That's
Yeah.
a fact.
Facts.
It's because I care about everybody here. This is like, I'm ready to make the ultimate sacrifice if needed.
Right.
And I hate to even have to talk like that, but if you're not ready for any outcome, you can't do this. You can't take on this type of task.
Right. So what about our young black and brown boys? They 14 to 21 years of age, you guys. Well,
That's for stop and frisk. They want all black men arrested.
okay.
But for stop and frisk, they want that because that's the gun carrying age. And here's the thing, right? On the surface, they're thinking. I can see why it makes sense to them, but this is where implicit bias kicks in. You know what I mean? This idea that we're more prone to being violent simply because we have more melanin in our skin. It's insane. There's this belief that we're innately prone to being criminals. And that's what that reflects.
Right.
Policies that say stop everybody that's 14 to 21 if they're black males and black Latino males. But this is something that's not being addressed properly on an institutional level. Implicit bias, Yeah.
I mean, but this is history. This didn't start in the police department.
On,
this is way back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where
As
black men are seen as extremely aggressive, and they just want to rape your little girls, and
And it's the other way around.
I mean, I wouldn't agree with that, but there should be no
what
one.
I'm trying to say was the other way around. They were actually the people we were scared.
No,
of. That's
absolutely.
what I mean when I say that.
Absolutely, I do agree with that. So, what advice would you give to our because if these kids aren't doing anything but just being outside, living their lives, like how can I protect my brother who's like 21 years old? What can he do?
So when I joined the department, I was very analytical of the operational structure, the culture, everything, and I realized that I got one arrow because they're not gonna let me get another shot. So what's the biggest bullseye that I could hit to give the biggest effect? Because they're not gonna let me take another shot. And that's when I realized the quotas. There's other things to address like the implicit bias in the culture, but the quota kills that initial contact. That initial contact. If you eliminate that, a lot of things that are connected to it will never happen.
That's
You
true.
understand? So that's why I said, let's kill that unnecessary negative contact.
Okay.
So support this fight, support this
movement.
lawsuit, and the probability of your child, your father, your brother, the probability of that contact diminishes greatly. I know this is where it's not so popular, and this is exactly what I did. Listen, we need more people with the right minds to join these police departments. You know what I mean? Like I did. You know what I mean? It's not easy. I know it's not popular, but imagine if I wasn't here.
Right.
Imagine if I
Fighting
wasn't
this
here.
fight.
Right.
So I know that's not. Later on, I'm gonna try to find a way to do a little touring campaign, trying to get more. I guess at high school level, start getting them there, start putting the seed in their minds. A lot of people like the salary. Salary's great. Like growing up in Flatbush, I don't even think you know how bad I had it. Like in the film, I talk about a little bit of the poverty.
Yeah.
Like my mother died when I was a baby.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Yeah, my dad, he was done. He was like, he suffered. And it's funny because he suffered from like severe chronic depression from burying my mom. And he was done. He wasn't working since I was 6 years
So
old.
how did you fight not getting caught up with your friends? Because from what you said in the documentary, where everybody was going to
And it
school
was
for their
easy.
meals, like you was going to school
It was
for your
easy,
meals.
bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Saturday came, it was like, it was nowhere for you to eat. Like your friends was at some point getting caught up into, robberies and things like that. How did you fight going through that struggle?
I'll be honest, that's the toughest question for me to ever answer because, we're all told what's right and wrong. It was just different for me. Like I could still roll with anybody doing wrong, but when it's time for me to engage, I just didn't. I can't. I'm still trying to figure that out myself, honestly. My dad did a good job. Like he explained, my dad was an immigrant. He was like, "Yo, I got nothing. All I've given you is birthright citizenship. Please go do something with yourself." And at 10 years old, I understood that. So it was crazy. I would eat. My brother and we would eat on Friday, and our next meal would be Monday at school. It's crazy, man.
Do you feel like we as a community need to do better as parents with educating our children as far as dealing with police officers? Because I feel like sometimes we're very ignorant. As a Black community, when we deal with police officers, it's because you're wearing blue, we feel like to be disrespectful automatically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's tough because what's referred to as youthful indiscretions. As teenagers, we're just gonna be stupid and make mistakes. The white kids are doing crazier things.
Yes, I went to college with them.
Exactly. It's the difference is the response. So. I'm the professional. I'm supposed to be the professional at being the professional. So I don't want to put too much of the burden on our people.
Right.
But the reality is, it's like being able to use your phone on the train. That's one of the biggest crimes that we get, phone snatches. On one end, it's like, oh, you're stupid for using your phone. But I should be able to use my phone on the train. It's my phone. But if people are snatching phones, you got to be a little bit more, cognizant of your area. So only for that reason, because it's a reality, we got to deal with the discrimination and the inequality. We do have to teach our youngsters. Kaepernick has the Know Your Rights camp.
Right.
And, they have 10 points. And one of them is you have the right to know your rights and know how, what it is you can and cannot do when stopped by a cop. But implicit bias kicks back in. And behaviors that are harmless when other people are doing it, when we're doing it, we're threats.
10 times 10, yeah.
So, Tamir Rice, kid playing by himself, 12 years old, in a park, by himself with a BB gun. I get it. The BB gun looks real, but he's by himself. There's no threat. There's no one's life that you're saving. You roll right up on him and just kill him right there. If it was a white kid, if it was a white kid, it would have been handled completely different. If someone even called the cops, probably wouldn't even call the cops.
What about the situation with Eric Gardner? Was that a quota situation?
All right, that's tough to speak on. I usually don't speak on the individual things, but okay, not speaking general, but you could fill in the blanks.
Okay.
When you're in anti-crime, right? When you're in plain clothes, what we call the D's in the hood.
Right.
Yeah,
you need 4 felony arrests a month. Your quota is 4 felony
Get out of
arrests.
here! I had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
This is why they
a
just
month?
this is why they just jump out.
Yes.
You got any guns on you?
And they be-
Lift your shirt up. They
yeah,
don't even
they
search your
do
pockets.
not-
You got any guns on you? Search
They
your.
don't care about
You got weed on you?
They
They
don't care
put
about
that
none
shit
of
back
that.
away. They
Yeah.
just drive right
That
off.
makes
They don't
sense.
bother
Okay.
you.
Yeah, the biggest arrest you can have in the NYPD is a gun arrest. It'll make your whole career. Like, it doesn't matter what shift someone's works. If you get a gun collar, the whole building knows about it.
And
That's
they're proud of you.
yeah. It's just it's a big deal. Cops fight each other for gun arrests.
Wow.
Serious?
Yeah. Like if multiple cops are on the scene, they'll fight each other for that arrest.
Wow.
Yeah, especially if like multiple precincts respond. They'll start calling higher officials, because the sergeant will be like, no, my guy's taking this. So he'll call his lieutenant.
Yeah.
Lieutenant's like, no, my guy. They'll call the captain and they will fight for that gun arrest. All right. So when you're in anti-crime, you need 4 felony arrests, preferably a gun. If you can't get a gun, it has to be other felonies. And untaxed cigarettes is a felony offense. All right. So you get it.
Yeah, we got it. To double back on what you just spoke on as far as racism, they try to hit you with that a little bit, stating that you let a guy pass because he was black. And I seen they really try to
run with it.
They try to drag it out.
Was it front page? That was front page. It was front page.
They
the
took
whole
that
page.
shit and they was like this with that.
Real.
Yeah. So it's funny because
Speak on that a little bit.
I don't even want to know. I don't even know if I could say I landed on my feet with that, but that literally just wrapped up. That's,
What?
Yeah, that's why. That's part of what they held against me to not promote me because I'm actually due since June 5th. I was supposed to be promoted to lieutenant. You know what I mean? So I was number 26 out of 1,325 that passed the exam. Yeah,
That's
you know what I mean?
crazy, man.
So,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's dope. Out here killing them.
Thank you. Yeah, and they know. They. I mean, you heard it in the film. You're a young black man with dreads, very smart, very intelligent, and you know that's a threat.
I
That's
was
a
like,
big
F
threat.
you. When I
Yeah.
heard him say that to you, I was
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I always
Yeah.
say.
How'd that make you feel, man, to hear that?
When he
Coming
yeah.
from one of your
Yeah.
one
Your
of your
superiors.
I mean, I knew what it
superiors.
was, like I said, but to actually hear him say it was like, wow.
Did that like make you less motivated, or did
Nah, man.
put
that
put
put
more
the
hunger
fire.
in your stomach?
Absolutely, man. Nah, like
Did you let the dreads hang the next day
yeah.
at work? You let them out?
like a lion?
Yeah.
Real.
You know what I mean? That's motivation,
Yeah.
because like I realized, like Edwin, you in a position where millions of people are going to be counting on you.
Right.
Damn,
So
no
in
turning back.
your current precinct now, do you notice with your presence, has the culture in that precinct changed?
like 90% of the guys there, they hate me. They
Oh, in that way?
yeah, unfortunately.
Wow.
So this is the part that is hard to explain. So even though what I'm doing is actually going to benefit cops, in terms of the culture, you're never supposed to do this. You're never supposed to speak out. Our secrets are our secrets. You never show the skeletons in the closet. So because of that, going against the culture, the no snitching. The cops have their own no snitching culture.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Biggest gang in America.
So
can we
because
talk
of
about
that,
it?
the same cops that are actually going to benefit from this work hate me. It makes no sense.
They don't realize the groundwork that you're putting in
Exactly.
right now
But that-
for later.
Exactly.
They don't see it yet.
But that's how tribalism
It's so embedded
works.
in them, though.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But back to that case though. So, it's insane. I ended up having to forfeit some vacation days. It was 8 charges that they were able to hit me with 8 departmental charges because of that situation. All fake, like all based on lies.
Wow.
And yet I was able to get some of the serious ones dismissed, and I accepted the lower ones just to move forward with my promotion. I go back and forth with that decision. Sometimes I regret it because it's like, I should have stood my ground and had my day in court. But on the other end, because they work so hard to keep that white shirt for me, because now you gotta wear white shirts.
Exactly.
They work so hard. They gotta see me in it, as soon as possible. So that's kind of why I went with that direction. And listen, I'm vindicated. Like, no, I don't care about those charges because anyone that looks into the situation would realize that it was a witch hunt.
Yeah, clearly much because even in your evaluation, when they start to say, "Oh, you don't listen," and drag them, I'm like, "What?" Like at this point, I was sitting at the company, like, "What are y'all talking about right now?" It just feel like a bunch of gibbering foolishness at this point.
Let's hit them with everything and see what
So
sticks.
Can
right?
you fight when they do that? Like when they give you low scores on evaluations, are you able to overturn it?
Yeah, there's an appeal process, but here's the thing. So my sergeant is supposed to evaluate me, and then the lieutenant concurs to the evaluation if I agree. But when it's a low score, the commander has to do the evaluation. Has to be the reviewer of the evaluation. But because this is coming from the commander, it's a kangaroo system. Like because when you appeal it, everyone sits in the room with the commander.
Exactly.
But it's coming from him. The sergeant don't want to do that to me.
Yeah.
So I appealed it, and
It's just like everyone's getting pressured.
So here's the thing. Imagine you got real life issues. Like you got kids in school and things going on in life. Do you really want this added stress at work?
Right.
If you could completely avoid it?
Yeah.
This is the situation that cops are in. This is what the people need to understand. When that cop is a dick and treats you like that, this is what's really going on in the background. This is no most adults did not take an oath to join a job to go stop you for riding your bike on the sidewalk.
No.
But when you got to get 20 summonses a month, everything goes.
That's your job.
Because if not, look at everything I'm going through. Who wants to go to, especially after working? So, especially listen, if you think it was hard as a kid for adults to speak to you, as an adult, it's a horrible feeling. Like you're a grown ass man, somebody come talk to you like you a kid. Like, you don't need that. So to avoid that, you just play the game. I've heard that since 10 years ago in the academy. Yo, just play the game, right? Just play the game. I'm like, this ain't a game. These people's lives,
Exactly. Livelihood.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, these records they mean something. And a 16-year-old doubles up through the turnstile with a friend. You give them both $100 summonses. I mean, I started working at 13. That's what saved my life. Imagine I didn't. I was that same hungry teenager now going to school, and you hit me with $100 summons. How am I pay that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So when these kids get locked up, because I noticed that you said that, under the pressure, you were just like, you know what, let me just accept some of these charges here just to move on with the process. So for like the little boys and even the young adults that are sitting in Rikers and are standing their ground saying, I'm not going to take a plea, do you have any advice for them? Because that has to be
It's
some of the hardest.
That was the situation for the woman's son.
Yeah, Pedro Hernandez.
That was his same.
He stood his ground, but he had Gonzalez.
He did not want to take no charges.
Also, we have to mention, God rest his soul, Khalif Browder.
Oh man.
I mean,
Because if Pedro didn't have the investigator, Gomez, he could have easily been another Khalif.
Yeah.
Because I know Pedro now. We it's been about a year now since I met him.
Yeah.
We've traveled doing film festivals together, and he's a bright young man, but he spent a whole year in Rikers. Like that does a lot to you mentally.
so how did his mother, where's the information for moms that have children sitting in Rikers and don't know who to reach out to as far as an investigator? How do they go about finding out?
If the children are innocent, you could contact the investigator Gomez. He's on it. He'll take these cases. But right now, the way the system is, unfortunately, there's not many angles there's not much that you can do. But if everyone refused to take the plea, the system would crumble in a day. It's designed for people to take the plea.
Right.
You know, so I would say as a group, just don't take the plea. But I know what that means. You want to be home with your family. Rikers is tough.
Extremely. So for him to survive in Rikers for a whole year, and I was just like thinking for him, like, wow. And he didn't look weak, and he didn't look like he was broken.
No, but his mother was like, sometimes he tells me I want to kill myself, I want to die. So it's a lot of pressure on the family.
It affected him.
It has to. It has
a whole
to as a
year,
human being.
knowing that you ain't do this shit.
Yeah. And when he went in, he didn't wear glasses. It was a situation he got into where I think his retina got cut, so now he has to wear glasses for the rest of his life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Oh my gosh. So we only have about 5 more minutes. I want to give you a chance to let our listeners know how they can join in supporting this movement, where they can find you, where they can find the documentary. Just tell us how we can jump in and be involved.
And what we could do to help you.
Right. Some
move this
tangible
forward, man.
actions.
Yeah. So, one moment. I'm sorry.
Because I think a lot of us
definitely follow us on social media. We need that social media presence. That way people can stay on top of what's going on. It's Crime and Punishment Doc, Instagram, Facebook, Crime and Punishment, Twitter, the whole nine. Yeah, Crime and
should have had it in
Punishment
your phone already.
And
you got it. It's on the Two Girls and God page.
no, I'm talking about follow the page.
yeah. So this Tuesday, I'll finally be promoted to Lieutenant Raymond.
That's what I'm
so it's
talking
gonna be a
Congrats.
thank you.
Yes.
So NYPD promotions are actually open to the public. So if anyone wants to come and witness this come through, we have some special guests that are going to be there.
Okay.
Man.
I'm
Go.
And
I want to see that.
Where can we find the information of where that's going to happen?
just police headquarters at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah. Try to be there a little bit earlier to get seating. And we have a screening coming up in Columbia on December 8th for the film. The film is on Hulu for those that have access to Hulu. Crime and Punishment. It's a Sundance Award winner. It premiered at the Sundance Film Festival. We won the Social Impact Award. We've won awards at many film festivals. And actually December 8th, I'm going to be in LA because at the International Documentary Association's awards, we're winning the Courage Under Fire Award.
Nice.
So
Congratulations.
my first time in LA. Thank you. So ultimately, just follow us on social media. We have the website crimeandpunishmentdoc.com where you can see, you can see everything else that's happening, and just stay on top of this subject. You let your elected officials know that this is on your mind. All right.
Yes.
I think it's something to get the community behind it.
Exactly.
Constant promotion.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Marty, you want to wrap it up? They're giving me the signal.
Yeah, well, I mean, we appreciate you for coming through, man. We appreciate everything you've done. You've pretty much sacrificed. I want to give a shout out to all the orphans that have sacrificed their careers, that have sacrificed themselves, that have put everything on the line to do the right thing, man, because there's not a lot of dudes like y'all, man. Yo,
Thank
you
you.
don't understand, bro. I honestly have a whole different outlook on police because
Yeah.
of watching that and what you do, bro. I really
Thank you,
appreciate
thank you.
Ditto. I
Because
agree.
I've been through it. I got boys that been through it. I got friends that's locked up.
Absolutely.
For me, it's a touchy situation.
Yeah,
But
I
y'all really
get it.
appreciate you, dog.
Yeah.
Real shit.
For real.
Really appreciate
Standing
you.
coming.
your ground.
Also,
Really.
my social media. Can I throw that in there?
Yeah, of course, of course, of course,
So
of
yeah,
course.
so on Twitter is Lionheart817. On Instagram is e.raymond_ and just Edwin Raymond on Facebook.
Awesome.
Yeah, yo, look, I need all my peoples to get behind
I
this
see
guy,
them
man.
phones out.
I'ma had a,
We
I'ma
got
had a,
people here.
I'ma
We
had
got
a.
people phones out. Get the
Nah,
following.
facts. I'ma had a whole hood watch this movie because everybody that grew up around us,
Needs to
and
watch
y'all know, he shouldn't have to be asking y'all to watch this movie. Y'all should be
Seriously,
watching it.
and
You feel what I'm
promoting
saying? And promoting it. Because y'all know what we grew up in and what we've been through. And for him to sacrifice for us and for our kids,
That's major.
shit is different, man.
Yeah, I'm on the whole
It's
billboard
big,
on
man.
Atlantic and Class and a big billboard. I'm on that, so come on.
It's big.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Check
man,
it
it's
out.
big,
Big
man.
things over here. So we're gonna have all that information linked in the in our description of the show. So
On
you can
YouTube.
just click,
Yes.
and
also,
support.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes,
we are
yes.
here to break bread as well. It's
We
two
about
girls
to
and
have a little
guy.
feast
We're gonna
after
have our little
this.
Thanksgiving
You know what I'm
moment
saying?
as
Because we ain't gonna be
well.
together next week.
And I want to give a shout out to Candidly Tony, who has
Yes.
catered
Yes.
Yes.
this show
Again,
for our
you
lovely
know we had to
guests.
hit your
Yes.
back up.
Yeah, so
Okay.
thank you
Yeah,
so
yeah,
We
much.
appreciate you.
And that's it. Thank you
Yeah,
for joining
man.
in.
And it's a wrap.
Yes.
2 girls, 1 guy.